Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a seemingly absurd, everyday scenario to unravel one of theology and philosophy's absolutely biggest, most confusing mysteries. We're talking about the destiny paradox. For centuries, people have wrestled with this massive tension between a higher power's overarching plan and our own human free will. It's a heavy topic, right? But to really get it, we don't need some complicated, dense philosophical textbook right out of the gate. We literally just need to picture a very specific, kind of comical situation happening on a sidewalk.
Okay, so let's just picture this. A man is walking toward you down the street, but he's not exactly walking in a straight line. He steps way over to the left. Then he totally stumbles to the right. He overcorrects, swings wildly to the left again. I mean, he's entirely off balance, and his momentum is just completely out of his control. You are standing there watching this unfold in real time, just observing the pure physics of his erratic movement, until the inevitable finally happens. Right before gravity completely takes over and he hits the ground, you clearly see the inescapable trajectory of where this whole thing is heading. You lean over to your friend standing next to you, and with absolute certainty, you just state exactly what's about to happen. You say, "That guy's gonna fall." 3 seconds later, boom! Down he goes. He falls. But here is where our little thought experiment takes a sharp turn into the absurd. Let's say he falls hard enough that the police actually arrive on the scene. They walk up, pull out their notepads, and ask the crowd, "Hey, who did this? Why did this man fall?" And the situation instantly becomes hilarious because of what happens next. Your friend, the exact same person you just whispered your prediction to, raises a hand, points a finger directly at you, and makes this completely ridiculous accusation to the cops. They look right at the police and say, he did it. He said the guy was going to fall." I mean, what would your immediate response even be? You'd be in sheer disbelief. You'd probably throw your hands up and shout, "What? No way, I didn't push him." And you'd be absolutely right. Your words were literally just an observation of the facts presented right in front of you. Merely stating that an event is going to occur doesn't mean you physically exerted the force required to actually make it happen. Now, as crazy as that sounds, this completely ridiculous scenario is actually the perfect tool to untangle a massive philosophical knot. It takes this huge, abstract concept that has tied theologians up for centuries and grounds it in a reality we can all intuitively understand. Because think about it. The man on the sidewalk didn't fall because you predicted it. Your foresight was just an observation. You only said he will fall because you saw exactly where things were heading based on his own erratic choices and his own momentum. Your knowledge of the future was just a mirror reflecting reality, not a physical force violently pushing him to the ground. And this brings us to a fundamental concept we really have to hold on to here. Knowing that something will happen is entirely 100% separate from causing it to happen. So let's take this and see how it completely aligns with the framework in our source text, the Risale-i, specifically the 26th word. This text systematically breaks down the illusion that divine foresight somehow cancels out human agency. And it does this by asking us to look incredibly closely at the language we use when we talk about fate. This is the crucial point, grasping the massive difference between these two distinct perspectives. On the surface, sure, they might sound kind of similar, but they represent completely different realities when it comes to free will. Look at the first statement, "I did this because God wrote it." That basically turns you into a puppet. It suggests you're just blindly acting out a pre-written script with zero real agency. But that second statement, "What I freely choose is already known to God," that places the power of choice squarely back in your hands. It acknowledges that your free will is totally intact, it just happens to be observed from an eternal vantage point. Okay, to really lock this concept in for good, the source material gives us another incredibly helpful mental model. Imagine you're just chilling on your couch on a Sunday afternoon, watching a recorded broadcast of a football match that actually took place yesterday. Since you're watching a replay, and since you've probably already checked the spoilers on your phone, you know for an absolute fact exactly what is about to happen. You know that precisely in the 82nd minute of this match, a specific player is going to break right through the defense and score a spectacular goal. So you're watching the screen, the timer ticks closer to the 82nd minute, and bam, he scores. Your prediction was 100% accurate. But honestly ask yourself, did your prior knowledge physically compel that player to kick the ball? Did your awareness of the outcome while you were just sitting there on your couch somehow reach through the television screen and force his leg to swing? Well, of course not. Now, it is important to clarify that God's eternal perspective isn't exactly like sitting on a couch watching a TV recording, mostly because the divine perspective exists entirely outside of time itself. But this analogy is absolutely perfect for helping us separate two vital concepts that we constantly jumble together: knowledge and compulsion. They are simply not the same thing. Once you successfully separate these two ideas in your head, a massive amount of the confusion around destiny completely clears up. It leaves us with this incredibly powerful anchor sentence from the text that is absolutely worth remembering. Knowing is not forcing. It is a profound and honestly super liberating truth. Having advanced knowledge of an outcome simply means seeing the entirety of a person's free choices. It is observation on an ultimate cosmic scale. It is definitely not stripping anyone of their agency, and it's certainly not the same as making someone act against their will. The player kicks the ball because he wants to win the game. The man falls because he lost his balance. The action always belongs to the actor. So we arrive at our final takeaway. If your destiny is really just a perfect, eternal record of your own free choices, rather than some rigid script you're being forced to act out by a puppet master, how does that change the way you step into tomorrow? If the pen is ultimately in your hand, driven by your own volition, what will you freely choose to do next? Think about that as you go about your day. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep asking the big questions.